Hello, Brickman here. Today I'm going to be discussing the level details and other gameplay details of LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga to continue my LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga news update series. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, there's going to be a total of 45 playable levels in the game, and that means 5 levels per film, as there are 9 films total. Of course, we know Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and finally, which has not even been yet released, there is The Rise of Skywalker, which, by the way, The Rise of Skywalker, the filmmakers of that have not even disclosed any details at all to DT Games to avoid any spoilers whatsoever. So, that means that this game probably won't even release a while till after the release of The Rise of Skywalker, so, you know, we don't even have the specific date of when this game's going to release. They still have a lot more to make, even after December of this year, so we'll see how that all rolls out. But let's discuss some of these levels and how they play out. They should be fairly short, as they've been estimated about 10 to 15 minutes, which is a shame. That's not that much longer than the complete Saga levels. But, you know, they got a lot to cover. I'm not going to blame them. It's a big game. Now, they mentioned something about introducing challenge points in the middle of a game, which is interesting. I don't know how much different that is from a normal LEGO level, but they have something where it's like interactive in the boss battles where you can vary in how you decide to fight the boss. It's not like one specific way. Like, you could use the Force, as I already talked about how powerful the Force is in this game. You could just, like, lift up a random object, throw it at the guy, or you could pick up the guy and throw him at something, you know? Something like that. It's interesting. Now, also, what's important is you can choose exactly where you want to start. You could pick any film at the very start of the game where you want to start. So, you could play the game and be like, I really like Attack of the Clones. That is such an amazing movie, and I just want to play through every single love scene moment of Anakin and Padme. And you play that first, which is kind of a random place to start, but, you know, you could do that if you want. It's not just based on each trilogy, as far as I know. That's what they said. You could start anywhere you want. Of course, you have to start at the beginning of a film, obviously, but, you know. Now, what's a pretty big part is the cutscenes and how that's going to work. They got a whole voice cast. They have a lot of voice actors that are supposed to be very close, at least, to the original characters. Some might even be the real characters, such as, you know, Lando Calrissian. You know that Billy D. Williams always loves to reprise his role, but that's one thing. However, you know, do we want talking characters in the cutscenes? That's the big question, because this game is supposed to be considered the celebration of what's old in LEGO games and what's new. What's new and what's old and what's new. So, how are they going to do that? Well, of course, it's going to be so modern and updated and everything, and a big part of remastering the LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga game, which I'll touch on that in a minute, is that, you know, voice actors would be introduced. They're talking in the game, in the cutscene, and that's completely unlike the original Saga. That would make it a lot more modern and new. Now, here's the thing. They are, of course, making this game completely from scratch, so none of the levels are going to be the same. Well, I mean, you could possibly do the same exact coverage, but they're not going to be the same at all to the complete saga, because this is not considered a remaster or remake, but rather just a completely new game, so that's important to mention. However, back to the voice actors, they've been considering adding an option to make all the characters mumble instead of speak. But that would be very difficult to implement, because the version where they're talking is pretty much confirmed. They have the whole voice cast and all of that. So if you wanted to make the mumbling option, then that means the cutscenes are just completely different, unless you're going to show them talking and stuff, but just make that mumbling. I think that's kind of stupid. However, they made it kind of as a suggestion to see the fan base reaction, and of course all the fans were just like, oh my god, that would be so great, you know? Let's bring it back to the old days, even though the point is to make it new, not what we've already played through, you know? But, you know, that's fine. So I'm pretty sure they're probably not gonna fully go with that. We'll see how it turns out, but they could still have mumbling characters as an option. Alright, so that's pretty much all the details I have to cover for the levels. It's going to be a fun time. You could just imagine what every level would be to cover the full story. And of course, stuff will be included in the hubs to fully derive the plots of all the Star Wars films, but we'll see how that turns out. Alright, so that all being said, thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more news updates coming real soon. Whenever more news is released, that's when I'll start covering it. Alright, I think. Bye.